All right, so 39651. Okay, so 9,651 divided by 3. Our first step is to do daddy, mommy, sister, brother, dog. So you divide. 3 goes into 9 how many times? 3 times. Now you multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. Then you subtract. 9 minus 9 is 0. Then you bring down. Then you go back up to the divide. 3 goes into 6 how many times? 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Then you subtract. Then you bring down the 5. 3 goes into 5 how many times? 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 5 minus 3 is 1. Then you bring, 2. And then you bring down the 1. 3 goes into 21 7 times. So that is how you do it. The next one is 5 goes into 32.6. So we're just going to move this decimal up here. That's always my first step so I don't forget about it. So we're going to do 5 goes into 3 0 times. 5 goes into 32 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30. And then 32 minus 30 is 2. Bring down the 6. 5 goes into 26 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, next one is 326 times 51. So we do 6 times 1, 2 times 1, 3 times 1. We add our 0, and then we do 5 times 6 is 30. You put the 3 here, you put the 0 here. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. You put the 3 here, you put the 1 here. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. And then we're going to add all of this together. 6, 2, 6, 6, 1, and we put our comma in. If you don't want to do it that way, then we do it. 50 goes here, 1 goes here. 300 goes here, 20 goes here, 6 goes here. 300 times 50, so we do 3 times 5 is 15, and then we have 1, 2, 3 zeros. 300 times 1 is 300. 5 times 2 is 10 with 1, 2 zeros. 20 times 1 is 20. 6 times 5 is 30 with 1 0. 6 times 1 is 6, and then we add all of these up. If we add all of them up, you will get this answer right here. Okay, so those are those two, and then I'm going to talk to you about how to work with decimals in our multiplication problem. So you're going to do the problem like normal. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 1 is 31. And then 5 times 3 is 15, plus 3 is 18. Now we find out how many jumps we go in from the end of the number on both the top and the bottom. So this is 1 jump in, and then this one is 1 jump in, and then we add those up, 2 jumps. So then the last step is you put your imaginary decimal at the end of every number has an imaginary decimal. We just don't write it. And then we go in however many jumps this tells us to go in. So we're going to go 1, 2. And now the answer is 18.10. If the decimal here wasn't here, we would only go in 1 jump, because there's no jump here. If the decimal was here, so you just figure out how many jumps you have to take. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. The next and last thing that we're going to do is if you have, let me get more room, 32. So if you're dividing and instead of having one digit, you have two digits, like this, you have to do a little more work, but it's the same thing. So how many times does 32 go into 9? It doesn't. So we go to the next digit. How many times does 32 go into 96? So what's your guess? What's your estimate about that? We always just take a guess.
5.
Okay, so we would start with 5, and then we would say, oh, that's too big. I was trying to get to 96. So what do you think? What's your next?
Just pick another number.
Yeah. So we know we have to go lower than 5.
3.
Okay. So then we find out, oh, look at that. It is there. So we put the 3 above the 6 because the thing that we were dividing was 96, right? So whatever digit it's the end of the number that you're dividing, we were not doing 9, so we don't put it above 9, we put it above the 6. And it's 96 with a remainder of 0. Now we bring down the 8. How many times does 32 go into 8? 0 times. So now we bring down the 5. How many times does 32 go into 85? Well, we know that when we did times 3, it was 96. So what's your guess? How can I get 85 or less?
Minus it or divide it.
So 32 times what?
32 times 2. Or we could do 32 times 1.
Okay, so 32 times 1 is 32. So I'm going to go with 2. All right, so that is the highest that we could go without going over. So we're going to put the 2 here, and then we're going to say 64 here. And then we subtract. Our remainder is 21, so we put that up here as our remainder. So the answer is 302, remainder 21. Okay, so for homework, I want you to watch this video, and then I want you to write 5 sentences a day about your book. And you might have to reread it if you can't really come up with stuff, and you don't want to have to do that, right? So try to remember some parts that happened after what you've written so far.